Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Wandering Road podcast. I'm your host Chris, alongside with my co-host Dean. Joining us today as a guest is Jennifer. Welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Hello, boys. How you doing?
It's a Friday.
It is.
That's what I'm happy about it. But Mr. Hawaii over there, living in paradise. How are you doing?
Yeah. It's just
and working. Thank you. I'm not at the beach every day with a drink, just every other.
That's not what I've heard. I've seen pictures of Hawaii. It's all beautiful. Don't even.
Have you ever been out here? Have you been to Hawaii?
Honey child, I'm a teacher. Ask that question again.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, though, every time like we have a guest on and they learn I'm in Hawaii, they're like, "Oh, I want to go someday," implying that no one ever goes to Hawaii. So, and I tell them the same thing, like just pick the right time of year. You just have to get on the shittiest flight possible, and you can, stay at Airbnb, and it's manageable. It's managed. You could do it.
One day.
After 20 more years of being a teacher,
whatever you're doing.
Ay, Dios mío. just so much. That's okay. One day, after I'm retired and I can travel during the weird times of year when no one else travels, and.
So Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
You found us when we appeared on Homespun Haints.
On Homespun Haints, yep.
Yep. You and I have been talking back and forth. You reached out to me, I think it was on TikTok.
It was on the TikTok, yes.
Yeah, we started talking back and forth on email to get this set up, and come to find out that you're actually a school teacher. So are you here to share your horrible, terrifying experiences working at school, or are you here to share some
First of all, are we talking height? Because there's a range in my mind. There's a spectrum.
Okay.
If you're teaching super duper young kids, really, really hard. If you're teaching super duper old kids, equally as hard. But like, where do you fall on the spectrum? Are you like a high school? Are you like beginning education?
I did. I've been teaching for over 20 years now, so I'm old. There it is. I got it out of the way. Everyone, I'm old. There it is. I started out in high school English. I went to do, I actually taught middle school theater for quite a few years, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Sweet.
That was rough. I mean, if you can keep the attention of, a group of 12-year-olds, you're somewhere in like your magic. And then I got tired of doing theater and I went back to high school. So now I'm back high school English.
Oh my gosh. So consistently hard for 20 years.
There's every single grade level has they've got their advantages, they've got their disadvantages. I don't understand the people who can teach the really, really little ones. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like there was one time I was working, it was like a communities in school, like an adjacent program. And they had me in a room with 6 kindergartners by myself. And it's amazing any of us made it out alive. My absolute praise to elementary. I don't understand how you do it. I don't get it.
So I have a 4-year-old now, and we're at that stage where it's like a year before first grade or a year before elementary school or whatever.
Yep.
And so it's still daycare and whatnot. And I have like the greatest admiration for the teachers and whatnot, but I learned something. So what I learned is like, if you meet a teacher and they're consistently dealing with young kids and they're all like, "Oh, look at this precious." If they're the most bubbly person and happy all the time, every single time you see them, red flag. If you see someone who's acting normal, like, "Okay, kids, come on, let's go." Like, like if they're being real and they're like actually being a human, like, okay, now I know that you are an actual person and you're doing this the right way. So I just I don't know. I just had to add that.
No, do you see this coffee? This is always my afternoon coffee. And I drink it for the safety of those around me.
I love the banter.
Okay.
I just need some teaching skills, some advice.
It's
keep
all
the co-host in line over here.
It's all about gentle redirection. It's okay. So I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead
Dean.
and let's stop this road from wandering too much and get back to the paranormal, because not everything paranormal happens in my classroom. Although my school's haunted, there's no way around it. It is. But I'll get to that. Don't worry. So, would you like my stories in chronological order, or do you want to just you want me to list them out and you?
Yeah. Before we do that, I do have a question for you.
I got an
How
answer.
did you get into all the weird paranormal shit that we're into?
I was raised in New Orleans.
Ah,
And
Answer.
there's just ghosts. They're just ghosts. It is what it is. The entire city's haunted. Everything around it is haunted. You walk through the French Quarter and you see the real estate signs, and some of them will say haunted and some of them will say not haunted. And it is what it is. It's haunted.
I think that speaks for itself. New Orleans, have you seen any vampires?
I have not. I know about the Count Saint Germain. I know about I forget the name of them, but there was a couple of like brothers that were supposedly vampires. I know where Anne Rice used to live. I read every Anne Rice vampire book. I was the kid in the my friends in the movie theater. I was in high school when the original Interview with the Vampire came out. Like I said, old. And we were the ones sitting there going, that didn't happen in the book. That didn't happen in the book. Why is it? That didn't happen in the book. So, yeah.
For the last couple weeks or so, maybe it's been like a month, I have been seeing a lot of stuff popping up on social media about vampires again. And I don't know if you guys know this. There were
guy
at
in
least
Sicily?
a few people. Okay, yeah, exactly.
Yes,
like that's been popping up. The guy talked.
No, he wasn't in Sicily. He was in Italy.
Yeah, in Italy. Yes.
Yeah.
So what's so strange about this? It's like it's cyclical, right? Like for years and years, at least for me, like I was off the radar. Like I didn't hear anything about real vampires. Like vampires are to me one of the most easily debunkable things ever. Like okay, so you could say like, oh, there was like Vlad the Impaler, and he actually did try to drink people's blood. We actually did a show on that, and we're joking around. It's like imagine he drank the blood one time and it spiraled into the story, but really when he drank it that one time, he's like, and he had to go in the other room like, excuse me, and he just like spat it out everywhere because like you could literally get sick and die from drinking someone else's blood. What's your take on vampires in general? Because that's a good question, asking you coming from where you came from.
They're fun. They're a fun story. Every story has some basis in truth. Have I witnessed anything personally? No. Have I talked to anybody personally? No. Have I talked to people who believe they're vampires? Yes. And I go, no, I saw you eating something around the corner. Don't even.
With your fangs. Yeah.
With your fang. No.
You were eating beets, asshole. That's not real blood.
Clamato juice.
You came, like, I saw you eating a po' boy around the corner. No. But I've been to the vampire bars in New Orleans. There was one that we liked to go to. It was called The Dungeon. And it was just, it was just fun, gothy, fun times. I haven't seen anything or experienced anything. That doesn't mean that something doesn't exist. I mean, same thing with I've never seen Bigfoot. That doesn't mean he doesn't exist. Never seen an alien. Right. That doesn't mean they don't exist. So as much as I would like for, the doctor to come down in the TARDIS, I haven't seen it yet. So just because I personally have not experienced it something is keeping this lore up. There's a reason why it keeps getting spoken about. There's a reason why it is cyclical.
What was the thing you said about the dude in Italy with the vampire stuff?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, it was on TikTok. I don't know the name of the creator. I know he's got a blue check mark by his name. That's all I know. But he was in somewhere in Italy, and there's a store that's only open at night, and he tried to get in, and then somebody sent him a note, and then things have been popping up on his Ring camera at home. It's, even if it's not real, it's a fun story. So it's just, I don't know about the reality of it. It seems like a sketch and it's like a skit, but it is fun to watch.
One of the hardest parts about having fun and exploring the realms that we explore with like the paranormal, for me, like I believe that there's something that is definitely unexplainable about the nature of our existence. But when I'm watching a TikTok where it's just one guy talking about experience and there's no references, you're a teacher, you need sources, you need references, you need like, okay, like if I'm like immediately see one person, they could be speaking the most clear English, like very articulate, and they could be very intelligent. But if they don't have anything to back it up, I immediately drop my interest by like 50%.
Are you talking about like their own personal story, or are you talking about in reference to something that's like,
it was a secondhand story, wasn't it?
No, this is his own personal story. Things that were happening to him. And I mean, at the same time, I had to because I've thought about this because of some of the questions that you've asked, your other guests on this show. He doesn't have any proof, and I'm thinking, well, what proof do I have? All I have is my word. Like, true. I know what I saw. I know what I felt. So if I'm asking others to believe me, shouldn't I also like give these other people the same credence the same of what I'm asking.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess what I was trying to get at with that, there's so much BS out there. When you talk to someone face to face, I think it's different because you could actually ask real-time questions to paint out the edges of uncertainty. But if you're just kind of watching a video of someone talking about their experience, it's a little bit harder because I think like nowadays more so than ever, people are so good at just utilizing whatever resource they can to go viral, to make money or whatever. And like that's how I feel. But oh shit, what's going on?
Amber alert.
Is that you, Chris?
Or not bad weather, right? You okay?
To make matters even, we could plug this into the show.
What's going on?
Make this scary.
Oh, no.
911 is down right now.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's always fun.
Well, don't have a heart attack.
No.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, it's not raining outside, right? Like everything's nice, right?
Oh no, it's okay, clear weather out this way. Yeah.
I've actually never heard of that happening. 911 going down. That's interesting. We had the missile strike incoming in Hawaii. That happened like years ago, and everybody thought they were going to die. Remember that?
No. There's a podcast based on that.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. Now I can't remember the name of it.
I'm pretty sure Jim Carrey, like there was someone famous who was in Hawaii when that happened, and they spoke about it, and it was really enthralling. But it just basically this idea that if a missile is coming to Hawaii, then it's probably at least a low grade nuke, and because it's meant to wipe out the Pacific Fleet out here or whatever military presence is like between Asia and the western side of the mainland for America, and so. If a missile's coming, it's coming to obliterate everything. So like people had this idea in their mind, like when they got the missile alert, it's like, oh, we're done. Like as soon as they got it, it's like everybody in the island's dead in a matter of 10 minutes. And all it was is someone fat fingering the alert system or whatever. And I think there's a whole documentary on it. It's really fascinating, but sorry, got sidetracked with the 911 thing.
Oh God.
What's up?
Sorry, my cat walked across my keyboard and deleted everything. That I just
yeah, take your time. Take your time to get it back.
This is why we have an undo. This is why we have an undo button. It's fine.
Yeah.
Control Z, Control C, Control Z.
Oh my goodness!
Just so you don't feel bad, Jennifer. So we've had a handful of people who were guests on the show where they would start to talk about creepy paranormal stuff, and then things would just go awry. We get like like things would just go weird.
Oh yeah.
And it's a consistent theme for the show. I do think that there's something to that. Even if it's just like three people focusing on something strange and abnormal, and it kind of raises that alarm bell. It's just like there's something being thrown off.
Oh yeah. Nah, that was just my cat being my cat. Oh, sweet girl.
Not summoning the dark force.
I love you. No. She's a good kitty.
Yeah, so let's go chronological because I really want to hear the initial start of all of these experiences you've been going through and stuff. But just before you go into it, though, I want to ask, does it start young for you? Have you had experiences at a young age, or did this start older in your life?
I kind of remember hearing things in my great-grandparents' house, people talking in French, like New Orleans, they're talking in French. I remember I was 5 years old and we were on a field trip. I was in kindergarten going on a field trip, and we went to a plantation for a field trip. I know now. When I was 5, I had no idea the implications behind, plantations and enslaved people and all the negative aspects of that. All I thought is 5 years old, oh, it's a pretty house. And I looked into a room that had a trunk in it, and somebody was standing there. I looked away and looked back. Whoever was there was not there anymore. Some lady in a dress. It really kicked off when I was 10. And once again, fun fact, I was in the Girl Scouts. It was a brownie field trip. And we went to another plantation. I know, but luckily now the whole thing has been burnt to the ground, and let us be grateful for that. Nottoway Plantation is no more. And the only reason why I had any sort of like response to it burning down was the fact that I had a pretty intense ghost encounter there. So I'm 10 years old, and Oh, let's see if I can get this thing working so I can show you the. Okay, so this is a side view of Nottoway Plantation before it burnt down, and you'll notice here how on the side of the house it's curved, right? So I'm up on the second floor with a big group of people in a tour, and we're in this room, which is all the way on the right here. And it's that painting is at the apex of the curve. Okay. We're in the room that's curved. The group of people that are like listening to the tour guide speak about the painting are in the front of the room by the painting. I'm in the back. Now I'm 10 and I'm obnoxious because all 10-year-olds are obnoxious. And the tour guide says, hey, you know, wherever you stand in the room, it looks like the painting's looking at you. So what do I do as an obnoxious 10-year-old? Well, everyone is in the front of the room listening to the tour guide's presentation on, I don't know if it was about the portrait, if it's about the room, it's about whatever. But I'm not listening because I'm in the back of the room doing this, just walking back and forth going, oh, wow, look, wherever I stand in the room, she's looking at me, just walking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. All of a sudden, you know that feeling you get when someone of authority has yelled at you because you've done something wrong.
Especially when you're young. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, I got that feeling. Now, I didn't hear it. And this is how I figured out, and I didn't know what this was until much later in life, the clairsentience. Like, I don't hear things. I don't really see things. I know. And I knew someone told me to stop. And I knew it was her in the painting. I ran out of that room, ran to the next room. My scout leader comes, finds me. She's like, Jennifer, you okay? No, I'm not. She's like, can you come back in this room? I'll be right here. You have to come back out this way. The tour guide said, so I'm going to be right here. I am not going back in that room. Because she yelled at me because I was being obnoxious walking back and forth. We go downstairs, and one of the last rooms that we went through before you got out was the music room. Once again, I'm 10. And I'm obnoxious and I shuffle my feet, right? I don't pick my feet up, I shuffle them. So when we're walking around the music room, it's barricaded off, roped off. That's the word I'm thinking of. It's roped off. In the middle, there's like harp and a harpsichord and a piano and all the things. And the tour guide, before we go in the room, says, please be careful of the carpet. Don't step on the carpet. Carpet is almost 200 years old. I'm 10. I'm obnoxious. I shuffle my feet. What do? I shuffle my foot under the corner of the carpet and it flips up. So what do I do as a 10-year-old? I look around to make sure no one caught me. No one did. It was live. I got that feeling again of stop it. I ran out the house. And I was not going back in for anything. So yeah, that was my experience at the now burnt to the ground. May it rest in pieces forever. Nottoway Plantation.
I've never been to a plantation house.
I'm fine with not.
I'm so a little bit of my background, which the listeners have heard a zillion times over, and I'm sure you've probably heard when you've listened to our episodes. I am a historian by trade.
Yes.
Nerd
professor. Kiss my ass.
We're all nerds. I mean, have you seen my shirt? May the force be with y'all. Come on.
Yeah, I keep forgetting this is not like the 1980s anymore with like Revenge of the Nerds, where it's like, nerds, we hate nerds.
Can be like, we can be open and normal, and it's like
quick tangent about that in general. As kids, we were made fun of for this shit. Even though I did like sports, I did martial arts, soccer, everything, right? So I was kind of like one of those hybrid nerds where I did the physical activities and I did that activity. This shit has become so mainstream now that I heavily gatekeep. And I know it's wrong, but I will gatekeep the shit out of stuff. Lord of the Rings, leave it the fuck alone.
Thank you.
It is what it is. Rings of Power is a fucking abomination. I don't care about your subverting expectations. I don't care about any of that bullshit. Galadriel was one of the strongest elves that did not need a weapon for a fucking reason.
No.
Stop doing that shit. But anyway.
I feel you as the girl in the 80s who liked Star Wars. I had to keep that under wraps. The fact that I wanted to be Princess Leia. because she was badass.
She was badass, and the fucking new movies just screwed her up. I know.
To have characters like
like
Leia and Ripley, and to not be able to celebrate those, and now I have kids walking into my classroom wearing Thor t-shirts. It's like, okay, I walked so you could run. So yeah. I'm okay with that. The fact that nerd culture is mainstream because, well, you know, I suffered so that people could say, yes, I love Marvel movies. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I got you like Dragon Ball? Yes, I fucking like Dragon Ball because it's heavily based on martial arts.
Hey, look, I'm doing a Spirit Bomb and I'm going to stand here for 8 episodes.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what makes me really sad, though, is on my my reels or whatever, my doom scrolling, I get The Simpsons all the time because, like, The Simpsons, in my opinion, the writers of The Simpsons they were one of the most brilliant group of people to write for a comedy show in the last, like, 40 years because the amount the way that they exactly, well, that too, but the way that they injected their comedy, like if you go back with an adult cap on, like, you know, you're more analytic, you're more aware of everything, like you go back and you actually pay attention to what they did. They made the show so like it would resonate with people who didn't think beyond the first level. They also injected jokes at the same time that if you were paying attention, it's more subtle, it's a little bit more intelligent, poking fun at certain things. And the thing that made me so sad recently was like I to this day I think of The Simpsons like quotes all the time, like how funny the show was and all that stuff. But then I saw kids who are maybe like generation what is it, generation
Gen Z,
like after just like, you know, yeah, young kids these days where they're just like throwing shit on The Simpsons, like, oh, it's so stupid, like all this stuff, and like, oh my god, like when did that happen? Like we went from our youth to the shit that we had to deal with as adults, and now we're at the point where like all the stuff that we like is just shit to the new generations. And I'm trying not to be bitter about it, you know, like I'm trying not to turn into the bitter adult, like, oh, you kids don't know anything, because it's all cyclical, right? But like that just makes me so sad that there's nerd culture out there that is being shit on by younger generations who could totally get it if they applied, but like
it's the same thing to where, you know, we thought that stuff that our parents were listening to and watching was stupid.
Yeah.
So like
no, I used to love listening to classic rock. That was my thing, man. Most kids in general, they just have to push their parents away because it's part of that growth, like leaving the nest. It's very natural, but it sucks.
Yeah.
The episode of Family Matters where Carl is freaking out over the water bill. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Anywho, see, I gave him shit for going off track, and look, I just fucking completely derailed us. But anyway, what I was initially going to say about the plantation,
we're just friends talking. Come on,
I know. My interest to go to those places is because, like, I'm heavily vested in history. Right. I like visiting old places. I like going to all these different places. So for me, I don't know, I can like just appreciate the historical, like the story of it, to see what it is type of thing.
I can use that to piggyback on, or to jump to one of 2 stories that have historical context. So do you want the morgue or the Citadel?
The Citadel. That sounds fun.
Yeah, let's start with the Citadel.
All right, this is the most recent bit, by the way. I'm sure that you boys are familiar with Robert the Doll.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we did an episode on him.
I was in Key West a couple of years ago. I was on a cruise and we stopped in Key West, and it's like, I got to go see Robert the Doll. This is what it is. Got to go. So we went to the Fort East Martello Museum, not just because, you know, Robert the Doll was there, but also because, you know, there was the local folk art, which I love. Local art. It's just fun. My friend and I, we go down there because it's like, okay, let's go look at Robert the Doll and local art. So we rent bikes, which that was not a good idea. But we rent bikes and we pedal down there, which is way further than we thought it was. We get there, we're like hot and sweaty, and we walk up to Robert, and I just go, Robert, I can't talk to you yet because I'm too hot and I'm too sweaty. When I cool down, we'll have a conversation. Be all right. We keep walking around. It's a huge museum. It's all about like the history of Key West, and in the middle of of the fort is this little area called the Citadel, and we're going to go inside it. But before we go inside, there's got to be like it's a day camp or a day trip or whatever. It's a bunch of kids with like foam swords, and they're beating the crap out of each other, and they're having a big time, and they're kids over the summer. We walk into the Citadel in the middle. The temperature drops like 20, 30 degrees. It is freezing in there. And the moment I walk in, I go, oh God, someone in here is angry. I couldn't tell you gender, couldn't tell you, like, I knew something in there was angry. Someone, it was human. And my friend's like, are you going to be okay? It's like, yeah, I'm okay. We just won't bother whoever this person is. So we go in because it feels so nice in there because it's like 30 degrees cooler, and it was like 95 degrees outside, and we're sweaty and it's awful. So we stay in there for a little while. We just walk around. There's not a whole lot to see. It's just kind of an empty shell with some brick walls, and that's about it. So we're walking around, and I am keenly aware of where this being is. And we walk around, and the way to go out is right by where it is. I'm like, oh God. Now what I should have done was just turn around and walk back the other way. I didn't do that. I just like, okay, we're just going to go. My friend's like, are you going to be okay? It's like, it's going to be okay. I'm just going to apologize to whoever this is, and I'm just going to walk through. So I put my head down, and I just go, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disturb you. I'm sorry. I'm just passing through. Get to the door to go back outside. My friend walks out, and she looks at me, and she's like, why do I have goosebumps all over my body? And I went, baby, you didn't walk through it, did you? She's like, you walked through a ghost. Oh, baby, are you okay? Like, she calmed down eventually. It was like, you walked through a ghost. It's okay. It is okay. It happens to the best of us. You're going to be fine. Just walk it off. Just walk it off. So we walk it off, and then we go to the local folk art, which was so cool. This local artist got all this junk and created these beautiful statues. It magnificent. I loved going through it and looking at everything that he had created. And there was this one spot in the room that there was a little dip. My friend's standing in it, and she's like, it feels weird right here. And I went, what do you mean it feels weird right here? She's like, right here, it feels really weird. And I'm like, huh. So what do? I start looking up. It's like, okay, is there like exposed wiring somewhere? Is there something that's like is creating this electromagnetic effect or something on her? And I don't see anything. And she goes, no, stand right here. So I stand where she's standing, and I feel hands on my shoulders gently pushing me back. And that's when I go, oh, this is a warning. On the other side, there was a tunnel that was blocked off for renovations or whatever. And I'm like, oh, there's something in, and whatever like pushed me back. I'm just like, I'm gonna be okay. Just curiosity. And I just peek around, and whatever it was, like, I don't want to say like evil's not the right word, demonic's not the right word. It was just wrong, right? It was just like wrong. And so I stepped back, and I went, okay, no one needs to go down there. Ever. But I knew like whatever was down the hallway was connected to the fort, and whatever had like pushed me back to protect me was connected to the land. That was what I got. And after that, we went back up to Robert, and I'm like, sir, it's been, an interesting experience in this. Have a good day. Like, I didn't take a picture of him or anything. I'm just like, have a good day. It's been a pleasure. And as we turned around, and as I was walking away, I got the acknowledgement of like the mutual respect of, thank you for visiting. Have a nice day. It's like, oh, okay. No, I'm done now. I'm done. That's like three experiences. I'm out. Let's go. We're going to go eat key lime pie, and then I'm going to go get drunk. So that's exactly what happened. Ate key lime pie, went back to the cruise ship, got a drink, and didn't stop. So
I have a question for you, Jennifer. I see, Dean, you came off mute as well, so I'm sure you have one, and then we could go on to the morgue story. When did you like kind of realize like, hey, I can like feel this stuff?
When I was about 10, I knew, because it was no one. like I couldn't hear. I knew that I couldn't hear words. I knew that I couldn't. And when it really solidified was this other story, because I know, Chris, you have told your haunted house story several times. I have a very, very different haunted house story. My experience with that ghost really solidified what I could pick up and what I could do. So yeah, it wasn't like an epiphany of, oh, I can do this. It was a gradual learning of over time. It's like, oh.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's the same for me. It's like as I was younger and going through those experiences and going through my teen years and my 20s, it's like, why do I feel different in certain places as opposed to, like I'm at home, I feel comfortable, but I like walk into a museum. Why do I feel uncomfortable?
Right.
Why do I walk into this shop? Why do I feel uncomfortable? I walk into an antique shop. I'll be damned if I touch anything.
Like, don't touch anything. Don't buy any mirrors. Hell no.
Gotta tell my wife that. I'm sure you probably heard this story as well. My wife went to like an estate sale, bought a mirror. I came home from a run and just picked it up and just put it back outside.
Nope. That
makes sense that it's like gradual, because it was kind of the same thing for me. It's like you get that feeling of either somebody's watching me, somebody doesn't want me here, but there's something here and they don't really care. They're just kind of
it's like the fact that my friend was looking at me the moment I said, oh, this is a warning. Like I knew whatever like spirit that was like, don't go down there. This is for your protection. I don't want you going down there. Please don't.
Right.
I knew. Those were the first words out of my mouth. This is a warning. So yeah.
Yet again, I find another fascination in this type of story where you bring something really interesting up. And that's the idea that something like Robert the Doll could have a change in effect on whatever his personality is at any given time. So like when we think about evil things or like spiritual or whatever, like it's always stagnant. It's always like static. It's always the same, right? And we've talked about this before, where if there are ghosts, maybe some of them are stuck in limbo, reliving the same experience over and over again, whatever. You gave the impression that Robert the Doll kind of like sent some energy your way, so to speak, that was like, okay, I see you, like, thanks for visiting. And that's so funny to me, because I'm thinking like, maybe Robert the Doll at this point, he's just so used to being like the center of attention and all this, like, at first he was evil. He was like Chucky the doll. He was like, I'm gonna, and now he's just kind of accepted his fate, and he's just like, oh, okay, this is not so bad. Nice to meet you, ma'am. Like, I won't curse you today, but be careful. Like,
yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Like, you hear, oh, he was evil, and if you take a picture and you don't ask permission, he's going to do all these awful things. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give him respect. I'm not going to give him a reason to do anything bad to me. That's why I said, Robert, sir. I always called him sir, and he reciprocated that respect. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's such a weird concept to me, that an evil spirit or whatever could just decide like, oh, I like her. She's not so bad. I won't haunt you today. If you come back, I can't promise, but I won't come after you today because you tipped your hat to me.
Maybe I caught him on a good day. I don't know. Maybe other people caught him on a bad day. I don't know.
So weird. So crazy.
So Jennifer, why don't we go on to your morgue story?
Okay. This we are kind of jumping around in time, but that's fine. This is more fun. Like, from New Orleans, and right after I had graduated from college and lived in that haunted house. Don't worry, we're going to get back to that, dear listener. We will get back to the haunted house. But for now, I want to talk about the morgue. My friends and I decided that we were going to be tourists in our own city. Most of us had just graduated from college, and we were going to go out. We were going to go on the Ghost and Vampire tour. Because, like I said, like, we all know of all the spooky stuff in the city. We all read the Anne Rice novels. So let's go. It'll be fun. And this originated in a bar called the Morgue. And the reason why it was called the Morgue is because in 1853, there was a yellow fever outbreak in New Orleans. A lot of the rich people left the city. So there was only like 50,000 people left who couldn't get out, and like 10,000 people died. And the morgue itself was overrun with corpses. So a lot of the residences had to become temporary morgues, and this was one of them on St. Philip Street. And what do we do in the city of New Orleans? We turned it into a bar. So go in, we've bought our tickets, and it's creepy AF in there. They've got the Grim Reaper, they've got the little tombstones and everything. There's red lights, and I mean the whole place is just like packed with tourists. And a couple of locals, but mostly tourists. So I decide, okay, I need to go to the bathroom because this is a 2.5-hour walking tour. I should go to the bathroom before we start walking around the city. So I go in. Now, this bathroom is tiny. This bathroom is tiny. It is small. You walk in and there is one stall pointing towards, another one pointing this way. You walk in and like the whole thing is painted maroon. Everything. Walls, ceiling, stalls. And it looks like it's been painted about 25 times. You know when you look and you can see how something's been painted over and over and over and over and over. And it's got that weird sheen on it and everything looks weird, kind of bubbly. So there was that. But you walk in and there's the sink. Above the sink is a mirror. Above the mirror is a shelf. On the shelf is a doll. And above the doll is a sign that says, please leave this doll here. It's for the little girl that haunts the bathroom. And I go, okay, because it's New Orleans. It's ghosts. It is what it is. So I go into the stall. I close the door. And you can tell it's old because there have been multiple locks put on the stall door. Somebody's come in with a drill and drilled new holes into the door. Everyone's seen this kind of stall. So I close it, and it's one of those locks that slides, and then you got to latch it down. Well, I close, I slide, I latch. My hands are on my pants. No one has entered. No one has left. I'm unbuckling my pants. Stall door opens. And I go, okay, that was me. I didn't close it well enough. Close it again. Slide, latch, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. We're good. I am eye level with the lock. My hands are on my pants. No one has entered. No one has left. The lock slides open. The door opens. And it's one of the few times I've ever heard it. I heard a giggle. It's a little girl. Now, I have to pee still. And it's amazing that I didn't pee while I was standing up. And I'm like, you know what? I just got my degree to be a teacher. We can do this. And I just go, sweetheart, I understand you want to play, but I need to use the restroom. Will you close the door, please? My hands are on my pants. No one has entered. No one has left. The door closes. The lock slides shut. I've never peed faster in my life.
You ever see the movie Scary Movie 2 where they
it's been a minute.
Where in the beginning where they'll like kind of make fun of the exorcist and they bring the father in and the other priest to help him, and he walks in the room and then the little girl that's supposed to be Reagan does the head spinning thing, and he like looks at the girl and then the priest and he's like, fuck this, and he walks out. That would be me. Fuck this, fuck that place. No. I will go pee outside and get arrested. I do not care.
Pee outside New Orleans? Psh, that's funny. And get arrested? No, that's par for the course. Anyway. No, but that's the thing. Like in New Orleans, everything's haunted. Sometimes there's ghosts. You just get over it. So anyway, I'm going to I wash my hands because I'm the person who washes her hands after using the restroom. And I look up. I can't see her, but I feel her behind me. And it's a little kid. It's mischievous. And so I just wave in the mirror and I smile at her. Then I leave. I go out to the bar and my friends are at the bar and I tell them what happened. And the bartender says, oh yeah, she does that all the time. All the time. She won't go in the men's bathroom. She just does it in the women's bathroom. I said, that's probably for the best because she is a little girl. The thing that made me really sad, though, was after Hurricane Katrina and after COVID, the bar itself shut down. The building was actually for sale for years. It was for sale. And it broke my heart. It's like, oh gosh, I hope that little girl passed on. Or like if she didn't, someone left toys or something for her. You know, I saw that it got, the last time we went down there, which was last Christmas, the building was bought. So somebody now owns the property again. So, yeah, that's my story of the little girl in the bathroom.
Here is where in the podcast I have to get hyper focused and technical. Like I want to get your opinion because you're a teacher. You've dealt with children on a regular basis of all ages. I have a problem with this idea that when a child dies, they could be a ghost. You know what I mean? Like it's just uncomfortable. Like it's, if you really psychoanalyze it with that, the implications of that, it's like, okay, well, that means that whatever force or power that's good on the other side of existence is not able or willing to help them at that time. So they're stuck in limbo, right? So there's like that whole thing. Because the reason I bring this up is because you said that critical idea, which is like, oh, I hope someone brought them toys. I have a 4-year-old, like, you know, she loves to play, like she wants to play with everybody. But what bothers me is like they could be stuck in limbo. So like here's my question to you, as someone who has worked with children for your entire career, like, and you've also had paranormal experiences. Why do you think, in your personal experience, your most wildest aspiration or dream, why do you think that happens? Like, why do you think that if a child dies, gets stuck in the bathroom of a bar, you know what I mean? Like, and you said you hope she passed on. Of course, like, you know, like if there's an experience like that, if there's a kid like that, you hope that everything ends well. But like, why do you think that sort of thing happens? It's a deep question, I know.
Why does it happen at all? Why don't we immediately go down the tunnel of light to, you know, whatever you believe is on the other side, whether it's, you know, heaven, hell, reincarnation, a different plane of existence? Why do some people go and why do some people stay? I mean, some of it might be comfort. Hell, she might be happy where she is.
Sure.
She might be like, this might be the best, because we don't know who this child is. We don't know this kid's name. And I'm not the kind of person who can perceive the other side to get that kind of information. I just can't. And that's okay. And also, like, somebody, when I told the story, said, well, you know, demons just pretend like they're children. And I went, that was not, no, it wasn't. There was nothing malicious. It was a kid having fun. And I mean, you got to think about that. If you're a little kid, you can mess with people and there's no consequences. I mean,
I know.
That's your own version of heaven. I mean, think about that, where you can just like just play with people all day long like that, or at least all night long, because people generally weren't in there during the day. But like, I
mean, I grew up with Caribbean parents, so it's
yeah.
I don't have that. I didn't have that option.
Right. But like, I really don't know why, because well,
it's a hard question.
Yeah.
I'm not on the other side yet, so I don't know. Who knows? I might make the same decision when I'm on the other side of, like, you know what? I'm going to spend 75 years messing with people because I feel like it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, or it might be, okay, this life is fun. Let's go start the next one as soon as possible. I'm done with this. So,
or even better yet, like, what if you're told by, like, hey, we got a backup of souls. Like, you know, we got to, you know, we can't cycle you through immediately. You got 75 years here. Just do whatever.
Yeah.
And then you just decide to have fun.
I mean, why not? There's no consequences. You got no bills to pay. You can just, like, you know, yell at obnoxious 10-year-olds or open up bathroom stall doors. Like, why not?
Dean, are you uncomfortable with the thought because it's a child, or do you get uncomfortable with the thought of that happening to anyone? Because I get your point, kids are innocent, stuff like that. The only other practical thing I could think of like why a child's spirit could linger is because they're scared.
That's true.
It's fear. There's no supervision that we know of. There's no handbook that we know of, even though you watch Beetlejuice, they give you like a little guidebook. But that's the only thing I could think of. They're afraid. They don't know what to do. And what else do they do but behave in the way that they did when they were actually alive? Because
you know what's interesting?
What they know.
You know what's interesting about that is that implies intrinsically that soul, regardless of age, has to make a decision to pass on. You could say, like, okay, it's either automatic, there's either a higher force that's going to pull you through no matter what, or there's a higher force that says, like, it talks to you like, listen, you have to make the decision, whatever. I understand that both can make sense and both can be real, but if you have a higher force that's like, well, the child doesn't have the same level of knowledge and experience that an adult does, so like the adult could probably make an easier decision to choose to pass through. What I'm getting from this is like if there was something on the other side pulling us through, why would it not be automatic for children? Especially like a 4-year-old. Like a 4-year-old's not going to be able to reflect on the value of their life and like whether or not they want to go on to the next side. Even if they were okay where they're at, you know, like living their ghost life or whatever, like I'm okay here, like I'm having fun. They still don't understand the complexity of what it means to live versus move on because they're so young. There's a missing component of experience throughout life. That's what kind of scares me about the concept is like, well, you might just be shit out of luck if you're 4 years old. You know what I mean? Like you don't have the experience to move on, to choose to move on, if that makes sense.
Right. But I think the part that comes in, and this is going into the realm of, like, if you completely believe this and completely believe in folks that can pass people on, it would be up to those people that are psychic mediums or decide to take on that work to pass people on, to help that child understand. Because you keep pointing out the one key factor, the experience, there's no adult. Well, it now falls upon the living to help this child pass on. And if they're in a situation where, think about an old mining town out west, right? Those get abandoned frequently. If a child had died there in like 1867 and they lingered and no one has passed through there for the past 200 years or 150 years, what do we do at that point? I try not to view it in the sense that, okay, you die, you automatically get pulled to the other side by angels or stuff like that. I think it's just luck of the draw, to be honest with you, because when people die and have near-death experiences, they don't experience the same thing. So
I really like that, though. I like that a lot because Jennifer was saying, like, as she was kind of like, Jennifer, you were kind of like being playful with her, right? Like, you were giving her a sense of like belonging and like, it's okay, you know, like, you know, you're there to show support and love. Maybe that's even why that little girl presented herself to you, because she sensed that from you, because you're trying to be a teacher at that age. You know, you want to help children. So it could very well be that, like, that could be factual. Like, you know, she presented herself to you because she felt comfortable around your aura or whatever you want to say. And that, Chris, going back to what you said, maybe that helps her nudge her closer to passing on. I really like that. I've never thought of that before. That's awesome.
I don't have the answers. I just know what I feel.
I know.
I mean,
I'm so sorry.
None of us do. We can speculate all day long.
Do you ever have an issue? Like, so you're a teacher, you value education and all this stuff. Do you ever find it difficult to let go of the flow of wonder or whatever you want to call it? Like, what's really going on the other side of life? Do you just accept it and you can move on? Like, oh, it is what it is. Like, I'll just move with it. I'll just flow with it. Or as an educator, like, you value education, like, do you feel like you have to dig deeper when you're psychoanalyzing it?
Well, here's the thing. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can think, what I can perceive, what I personally can understand. And the only thing that I have gleaned from all of my experiences is there is something. We go on in some way, shape, or form. I tried to delve into all of this. I'd probably drive myself crazy, considering that, you know, we don't actually technically know what is there or what isn't there. I know what I perceived. I don't feel the need to go down that rabbit hole because, well, here's the other thing. I know that I'm not capable of communicating with spirits on that level, if that makes sense. Do I have a whole bunch of experiences? Yes, but my experiences I can count on two hands. Not all of them were intense, like this one at the Citadel or the one in the bar or the one in the plantation. So I've never flexed that muscle before, but I don't know if I want to flex that muscle. You know,
I think there's a beauty in what you're saying for sure, because I am more someone who can't has a harder time not delving into those thoughts. But I promise you that all of the times that I've delved into those thoughts throughout my life and really lost myself in consideration and going down rabbit hole upon rabbit hole, it never fruited me anything. Because it's the same as doom scroll. To me, honestly, it's the same as doom scrolling. Like you're scrolling and you're looking for that you're like, okay, I get this, I can get all this information. But at the end of the day, when I put my phone down, it doesn't stay with me. I like what you're saying, because you're kind of saying like, okay, I know that there's a level in which I can perceive and understand things, but I choose not to pursue it because I know if I do, it's not going to fruit anything for me in this life.
It's kind of the way, like, the mindset of a teacher. Not all of my kids are going to pass. I can't save them all. I can't communicate with them all. I can't help them all. There are limitations to me as a human being, and I can't on my own. So that is work for someone else to do who has that, like, clairvoyance or just the rest of the clairs. To where they can communicate with these people and see what they do need, what they don't need, or maybe they just want to be left the hell alone. I don't know. Right. Like that whoever that was in the Citadel who was just pissed off at everything. And I have no idea why that being was pissed off. Could have just been pissed off because that was the day that they died. Could be because, the kids were fighting outside and making light of battles. I don't know. I just knew that it was pissed.
You're a teacher every single day of your life. You know that you cannot elevate every single student every single day to the level that you want them to get to. Like, you just have to accept that because if you gave up, you can try, but if you gave up, you would certainly not elevate any of them.
Nope.
That is a really brilliant insight, I think, to the paranormal in the same sense. It's like, well, you think of the other side as all powerful or all knowing or whatever, but really at the end of the day, there might be layers where it's just like, well, maybe just as in this life, we don't get everything we want. We don't get to achieve everything we want in the exact second we want to. It's like, well, maybe it's the same on the other side.
All right. So let's segue into your haunted house story.
Chris, whenever you tell your haunted house story, I always sit back and go, gosh, mine was a completely different set of circumstances. Like, I can't. And gosh, every time I hear a haunted house story, it's always something terrifying. And I'm like, that wasn't what okay. So it's my last year of college, right? And decide to move out of the dorms. And my friends and we rent a house. And it's this little tiny house in Mississippi, middle of nowhere, Mississippi. That's where I was. And with this giant front porch, because we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be where we hang out and party. And it was a great thing. When my friend Al and I went to go look at the house, we fell in love with it. It was great. And he's like, should we hug the house? Yes, we should hug. So we hugged the columns in the front before we left, hugging the house. And we loved it. So it's me and 2 other people. We're living in this little house. No central air, no central heat, no dishwasher, and 1 bathroom. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And it was great. We loved living in that house. It was a great layout. It was fun. It's a raised house. It wasn't on a slab. It was raised. So you could always hear it when people were walking around. You see that giant front porch that we had. And of course, whoever's living there now has made it a mess. And I know she's very upset about that. We were there. We moved in the beginning of the summer. This was in June. And my roommate Al and I were in the front room watching cartoons, as college kids do. We're watching Cartoon Network. And we had cooked dinner like responsible people instead of going out to eat. So we're eating and we hear something fall in the kitchen. And we're just like, what? So we get up and we go and look. And in the middle of the kitchen is the spoon that we had left on the stove. And that's when we noticed that we left one of the eyes of the stove on. Oh, snap. Oh, okay. So let's turn it off. It was after that incident that we started to see her and feel her. And more importantly, we could hear her walking around. You could see her out of the corner of your eye or in the mirror right behind you. We called her Grandma. She's a little old lady. She had flower dress, white hair. She took care of us. Really, she did. Her one and only rule was really just keep the house clean because, you know how I said that we didn't have a dishwasher? We were the dishwashers. Well, if the dishes overflowed in the sink and went out towards the counter, she would stand in front of the sink and tap her foot until we went and washed the dishes. She got mad when the house wasn't clean. Same thing with the bathroom had to be clean. Everything had to be picked up. She would tuck us in at night. The covers would come up and she would tuck.
Sorry. This sounds like the best ghost movie ever. Like a grandmother just taking care of you when you're in college. This is every college kid's dream. Uh-oh.
But there was one time she did go too far. I'm in the house by myself. I'm taking a shower, right? Remember how I said we only had the 1 bathroom? Okay. And her spot, there was this little area outside the bathroom where you could close all the doors. And we knew that this is where you hid during a tornado. In fact, that's where we did hide the one time there was a tornado warning. We went in there. That was her spot, was right outside the bathroom. I don't know what it is, ghosts in bathrooms, it's the running water, it's the liminal space, all the deals, right? So I'm taking a shower. I'm washing my hair. My hands are up here soaping up my hair, but I feel a hand, the back of my head, helping me shampoo. I stop for a moment, and that's when it's it hits me of what is going on. And Grandma has now gone too far. And that's when I go, Grandma, I am a big girl. I can shower by myself. Yeah, no. That hand goes away and she never pulled that again. It's no, no, you're not helping me wash my hair.
Not even if I close my eyes, dearie.
That is a hard no, woman. No. She understood that we were going to come in late, but like you could feel, okay, you walked in the front door and I could feel her like sitting on the couch judging us whenever we came in at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, as one does, because you're in college. I mean, why are we? So I would walk in, I would lock the door, and I would walk through the living room quickly. He's like, Grandma, I'm a grown woman, I can do what I want. It was like, she got over it. She was just like, I guess she was just sitting up, waiting up for us, right? You know, time passed, as time always does. And I'm getting ready to graduate and move out the house. My other 2 roommates are a year younger than me, so they're having to move someplace else because they couldn't find someone to replace me in the house. I was raised Catholic as well. There it is. And so my parents decided to get in touch with the Catholic priest that's up there to come and bless the house and help Grandma move on. Grandma was not pleased about this at all. She did not want to go. So
I'm Episcopalian. Like she gets really upset. Like, I'm not
Catholic.
God damn it.
God.
Get out of my house.
Okay, you're actually not that far. But priest comes over. Now the man is Irish, like from Ireland. He is Irish as the day is long. And
did he take a sip of whiskey before he came in?
He did not. No, we could have offered him some. But he walks in and he starts blessing the house and everything. I'm walking around with him, and I'm actually surprised that he can't see. This is the one of the few times that I could actually like feel her. She grabbed onto my arm, and like I looked down and I could see the finger indentations in my arm.
Wow.
She's like, I'm not leaving. This is my house. That's the feeling I got. This is my house. This is my house. This is my house. I'm not going. And she didn't. She hung on to me the entire time that man was in the house. So I'm like, she's not ready to go. She ain't gonna go. She is welcome to stay as long as she wants to. This is her house. And it really, what I should have done was look up who she was. Like, we never researched it. We just called her Grandma. So I don't know her name, anything. But anyway, the day that we moved out, the house was spotless, as she wanted. We made sure that it was like beautiful and magnificent. And when we left for the last time, it was like the house was sad. So if she's still there, I don't know, because looking at this picture that I pulled up from Google Earth, it's like she would never like that level of mess. Like, absolutely not.
She was gone.
She must be gone if that's the case. But no, she was a neat old lady, and she took care of us. And, we loved her a whole lot.
That's so much better than what I dealt with.
Yeah, yours is a completely different set of circumstances.
I had a mean asshole.
You did.
Whether it was a mean old lady or a fucking demon, who fucking knows?
I don't know, but
oh man, that your story and experience is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Why did your parents want to get rid of whatever? Like, you were leaving. Like, what was the fucking, like, why did it even matter?
Because they thought that they were doing the right thing. That's what they thought. It's like, oh, she needs to pass on. I'm like, no, she doesn't. She'll go when she wants to. But I mean, with that, this goes back to your other point, Dean, that you made before. Like, well, why didn't she go on? Why didn't the little kid go on? Why didn't anybody go on? But I know with her, it was her choice because that was her house. She wasn't ready to go yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to ask one more question based off of the last story. And this is kind of gearing more towards your personal stance, like using your own psychoanalysis, like reflecting on the situation or whatever. But like, if you look at a longer term view of the earth, and I can't assume this, like, you don't have to confirm this if you don't want to, but I can only assume that you're somebody who, as a teacher, you subscribe to the idea that the earth is, 4 billion years old. Like, it's really old. Everything's really,
absolutely,
really old.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So now that you've clarified that, that's something that I've been
it's round and it's not flat.
It's not flat.
Look,
wait a minute. Cancel the whole show. Like, I can't do this. No.
Look, I love the woo-woo stuff, but I also believe that science exists. So there it is.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like, I think that the idea that there's some kind of like secret base in the Arctic Circle is really, really fun, but it doesn't work.
Earth is fun in the Godzilla movies, but I don't
right?
know if that's really a thing. So yeah.
I know. Here's my problem. So if you look at everything from a scientific perspective, if there are ghosts and spirits and they are transcendent from the physical realm. There must be, by deduction, something physically holding them to this plane of existence, or this earth.
Mhm.
Probably gravity. I don't know, because if not, they would just fly off into space, because our planet and the solar system are hurtling through space
Mhm.
at 1,000,000 miles an hour at any given moment. My problem with this whole concept of like demons and spirits and all that stuff, it's only existed as long as modern humans have been around, at least the stories that we have now.
Mhm.
Because 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 years ago, when humans came onto the scene, we don't have stories from back then, for good reason, because there was no technology to record it. Like, maybe it happened back then, but like we just don't know.
Mhm.
But even if you go back before that, there are no other instances of other creatures being ghosts or whatever. So we could assume that ghosts are pegged to consciousness. Humans, in 1,000 years, in 10,000 years, humans will slightly evolve into something different. Like, what's your hottest take on all of these scientific nodes of, we're moving through space, humans have only been here for a short time? Does this ever cross your mind? And if not, why?
I've had that thought to where we're hurtling through space, and if the ghosts are attached to a specific point in space and time, we're not where we were, whenever grandma died, or whenever, the little girl in the bathroom died, or whenever the being in the citadel died. I don't know, but I have to say, I don't think it's just humans, because my 21-year-old cat who died 2 years ago, every once in a while he shows up.
Nice.
Yeah. My little room kitty he's around.
And that's not something we hear often, right, Chris? Like, we don't hear stories about pets haunting people. It's almost always humans, right?
So this is like
haunting.
It's not really a haunt. He pops in, he visits,
It's
he goes.
It's a visitation.
Yeah. That's not
Okay.
he's not it's different.
Because when my cousin was in grad school going through a rough time, he lost his golden retriever, lived to be 15 years old, and
wow,
he would hear his jingle of his collar after he passed away. Same spot he would walk through in the yard. He'd be just standing in the kitchen doing dishes or something. He'd hear Rusty's collar, So yeah, it's two distinct things, and doesn't mean it didn't happen.
And there's something that comes and stands at the door of my classroom, and I just look and there's nobody there. Nothing mean, nothing bad. It's just something that exists and is there. And it's just common knowledge among the teachers that there's something in the building. I don't know who it is. They don't have any malicious intent. They just live in day to day, or not living day to day, as the case may be.
It's got to be the old principal. It has to be.
I don't know. It's somebody. They come to the door and I look and there's nobody there. There's stories of other teachers saying like they were there late at night and like you could hear there's no one else in the building, and you could hear like toilets flushing and someone walking down the hallway and stuff like that. So, I mean, it might be a janitor, but I don't know.
Creepy.
I don't know who it is. They just come and hang out. I mean, they're welcome to come hang out in my room whenever they want to.
But Jennifer, thank you so much for being a guest on the show today.
Sure.
This was a fun one. We had a really good conversation and enjoyed having you on. And if you ever feel the need to come back on the show, just let us know. We'd love to have you back on.
I don't know. I've told you all my good ones. That's pretty much it. I mean, I know some old stories from New Orleans that I could pull out. Like, the Nottoway Mansion is always fun.
We could have a New Orleans themed episode.
You could.
That'd be a fun one.
Please, if you have stories, New Orleans, we want to talk about it for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's so many things that I know from the quarter and from just outside and oh yeah, I know some stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to make that happen.
Yeah.
But before we close out the show, Jennifer, you did mention earlier before we started that you wanted to plug a shop or a page of one of your former students.
Yes. One of my former students has become so incredibly successful. She is a witch. She is on TikTok and Instagram. It goes by Copy Alley Cat. She, her candle work is chef's kiss, phenomenal. She is on like TikTok, Instagram, Copy Alley Cat. I have known her since she was in high school, and she said one of the things that helped her go down the witch path was I gave her a scene to memorize, and she was one of the 3 witches from Macbeth. So that was one of the things that made her go, ding, this. It was a whole bunch of stuff that put her on that path, but that was another little indicator for her of yes, this is the direction I should go in. She's incredibly successful. She has her own shop down here. I am so proud of her. So if you need a reading, if you need a good limpia, egg cleanse, or if you need some candle work done, she is the lady for you. Copy Alley Cat on TikTok and on Instagram. And no, she will not reach out for a reading for you. You go to her. I cannot tell you how many spam accounts say, hello, love. Would you like to? It's like, you're not her. Stop. Just stop. Like, I'm not going to forward it to her and go, Alondra, can you, like, here's another spam account. Go do your thing. Tell them that they're stealing your stuff. You don't steal from a witch, bro. That's just bad.
You're asking for trouble.
You are. Like, don't do it. So, yes, copy Alley Cat. We love her. She's amazing.
You heard her, folks. Go ahead and check her out. And Jennifer, once again, thank you for being a great guest today. And listeners, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for tuning into today's episode of The Wandering Road. You can find us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and most podcast platforms. Be sure to subscribe and share. Also, don't forget to give a follow on Instagram at TW Road Podcast and follow my TikTok at TWR Podcast. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.